What does Colorado's ruling against Trump mean for the nation as a whole? And how could the ruling hurt America's standing in the world? Joining us now to discuss the broader meanings behind the ruling, we have Christian Watson. He's a political and philosophical commentator and host of Pensive Politics on YouTube. Christian Watson, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
To begin, what do you make of this ruling? What do you think it means for the country fundamentally?
Well, I think that we have to really realize that in America, we have a runaway judiciary. We have a judiciary that has no interest in actually the principles of law and the philosophy of law. It has an interest in using law as a mechanism to further temporary political aims. And this is actually by design. If you consider what happened in the 1900s with the Progressive Era, which was the single most consequential era to the future of American political order, where presidents like Woodrow Wilson and others quite literally changed the fabric of our political system and took it from a constitutional system to a centralized Prussian-style bureaucracy. You'll see during this period there was this idea called sociological jurisprudence, which is more colloquially called judicial activism today, rightly by a lot of conservatives, that has informed an entire generation of lawyers and judges and their perception of the Constitution, which then allows the rulings like what happened in Colorado, where the panel of judges basically said the 14th Amendment keeps Trump off the ballot, allows them to make these justifications in their mind. It's because they don't actually care about the Constitution. They care about the condition of society. It's judges acting as social arbiters. This is absolutely by design. So I think fundamentally it means that America is becoming less like America every single day, because we have forgotten our founding philosophy, we have forgotten the importance of first principles, we have forgotten the importance of the Constitution, and most importantly, in forgetting those things, we have failed to hold our elected officials and our judges to the standards those things require.
And now in terms of responses to this move, Vivek Ramaswamy has vowed to withdraw from Colorado's primary ballot unless Trump is also on it. What do you make of his move?
So I think that, again, and beyond the scope of politics, because a lot of people are talking about this move in terms of political analysis, which is absolutely incorrect, because political analysis is only good for showing you short-term things. Long-term and fundamentally, if you have moral conviction in your heart, you cannot stand by and witness evil without acting to abate that evil. But unfortunately, many people do. And so I think that Ramaswamy is really showing what a morally convicted person looks like. Someone who thinks as an American, as a moral person first, and as a politician second. But unfortunately, a lot of politicians would pounce on this and simply say, well, the president has legal troubles, I'm going to keep running my own campaign. No. The moment the system you are in deviates from the principles of this nation and becomes a tool of chaos and destruction is the moment you, if you really love America, if you really deserve the position that you want as president, need to say, I want to be in charge of this system, but I don't want to get there in a way that compromises my integrity or the integrity of the American people. So in my opinion, every candidate across the parties, forget partisanship, across the parties should say, if this is how we're going to conduct elections in America, through elite power politics, oligarchic rule, fiat from the bench, not from the people, as we were designed in 1776, then we should not partake in these elections. A single act of courage from a few candidates would have enough power to upturn the tables of this corrupt system in an instant. But few people will do this. And if you're wholly consumed in self-interest, that you can't see beyond your personal agenda for the universal harms that are taking place in America, then not only do you not deserve to be a politician, your standing in society, in my opinion, needs to be questioned. Because if you are willing to disgrace your fellow man in such a way, I'm not sure you can be a good neighbor either. And if you can't be a good neighbor, why would I want you to be my president? That's how I see it.
And expanding on that note, you've said that this is a turning point for America in order to preserve America's founding principles and the very foundation of this country. What do you think needs to be done next?
Well, first of all, I think Americans need to demand more from their politicians. The only reason this can happen is, again, because we exist in this culture where a lot of Americans understand politics through talking points, well, sometimes the important stuff's going to be really boring. It'll seem boring. It won't activate your emotions, but it'll actually be the most consequential thing you focus on. So we need to reorient our political focus towards a better, more sounder way of dealing with political issues that go beyond talking points that either side of the aisle wishes to hear. Number two, there are some serious philosophical differences amongst Americans in this country, but I think at the base level, the vast majority of Americans, regardless of their political affiliation, want the same thing. They want to have a good home for their family. They want to be able to work their job in peace. They want to be able to live in safe communities. There's some basic things that transcend the philosophies and the divisions that Americans have that many of us want. And so if that's the case, which I believe it is, we have to unite on that basis to demand that our system works in a way that is more reflective of the American spirit. And then number three, this is going to be more controversial. Some people need to go to jail. There are people who will, and I know this is going to sound spicy, but some folks need to go to jail or they need to lose their power. Because if there are people who are willing to abuse their power in such a way and do so in such a way that is a wanton disregard for any kind of morality, you have to ask yourself, okay, it happened to President Trump, but it didn't start with President Trump. And Americans need to recognize that. And some people need to get fired, you lose their job, get impeached, and some people need to go to jail. And Americans need to demand that in order to restore the integrity of our system.
Christian Watson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.